The Elektron Octatrack is one of my all-time favorite samplers, but it's not without its flaws and limitations. Even though it still remains a sampling beast, and one of the most deep and versatile electronic instruments known to man, after more than a decade of kicking names and taking butt, the old workhorse is starting to show its age. With no Mk3 version in sight from Elektron, I thought I'd make a video of 5 things that I use to revitalize and supercharge this amazing machine. If you're already subscribed, huge welcome back, my friend. If this is your first time here, hi, welcome to the Midlife Synthesis. Let's get started. Number 1. External effects pedals. Perhaps the most obvious sign of the Octatrack's age lies with its internal audio effects. Not all of them, mind you. The delay still packs a punch. And I absolutely love the filter. But some effects like the reverb really need an update. Especially when you compare them to their modern counterparts like the beautiful reverb found on the Digable. Thankfully, where the effects lack in modern panache, they still make up for in their tweakability, and learning how to use the LFOs and the scene slider go a long way to make them feel more alive than they have any right to be at this point. That being said though, sometimes you just need a lush reverb to splash onto your sounds, and thankfully, the Octatrack has a special trick up its sleeve to help you get there. Using the Q outs, you can set up an external effects loop to send audio to an effects pedal, then route that back in through one of the 4 audio inputs. I would recommend to look for pedals that allow you to control them through the 5-pin MIDI as well. Though sadly, you can't assign scenes to MIDI, which would be awesome, you can still assign things like the LFOs to your pedals to really get the most out of hooking them up to the Octatrack. My 2 favorite effects for it are the HX Stomp XL, which allows me to make an entire multi-effects chain, and the Strymon Night Sky. The Night Sky makes a particularly great match since aside from its beautiful soundscape, it has lots of modulatable parameters that you can control through MIDI. Number 2. MyVault's Ripcord. 15 years ago when the Octatrack came out, lithium batteries were still very much in their infancy, at least as far as synths were concerned. Aside from the OP1, I really can't remember that many group boxes that came with their own internal batteries. If you remember any, please let me know down in the comments, because I think we were still heavily relying on AA batteries back then. Nowadays, internal batteries are all the rage, and you can find them in all sorts of devices like the Novation Trax and the Rhythm, the MPC Live, the Push 3, just to name a few. Apparently, producers nowadays do most of their work in the woods, where there's better lighting and ample space for their drones to film them, so the market responded accordingly. Octatrack does not have that option, sadly, though I do hear that EasyBot knows a guy that can solder a battery into your Octatrack for you. Now personally, I'm a bit squeamish about opening up my gear and voiding the warranty, especially when there's smoldering hot metals involved. Thankfully, for us, the faint of heart, there is a less invasive alternative. The MyVault's Ripcord is a USB to power adapter that allows you to power up your Octatrack from a power bank and take it with you on those long hikes into the wild, or to a picnic to the park where your significant other will be absolutely thrilled that you brought your Octatrack along with you for your 10-year anniversary. Pro tip, you can even power it up using your computer's internal battery, and it's one of my preferred ways of making the Octatrack mobile. Just make sure you're using an appropriate power source on the USB side of things, just to be on the safe side. This video would not be possible without the support of today's sponsor, my good friends at Sweetwater. Sweetwater is one of the world's biggest dealers in all things music production related and have a huge variety of synths, guitars, mics, pro audio gear, you name it. Sweetwater's got you covered with excellent customer support and international shipping. When you buy your gear at Sweetwater using my affiliate links, you help support this channel so I can keep making videos for you. You might even say, I'm running on gas. Thanks so much to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. Number 3. An external sound source. Though the Octatrack is in essence a sampler, its design is a bit different than most samplers in that it was meant to be used to sample and mangle incoming audio live instead of prepping samples beforehand in the studio, as is commonly done in most samplers. Hence the name of the box, Dynamic Performance Sampler instead of just sampler. Though pre-recorded samples will still be the main fuel for playing your Octatrack, the real fun begins when you start controlling and mangling an external sound source during the performance itself. With so much of our focus on the power of the Elektron sequencer, it's easy to forget that the Octatrack is also an amazing hands-free looper. I've done a ton of performances where most of the audio is just improvised lines on a guitar or a bass as I overdub and mangle what's going in, and it's been a blast. Now, having a synth hooked up to it while both controlling it and mangling the incoming audio is where the Octatrack really comes to life, and it feels very different than just sequencing a synth externally. Just remember that the Octatrack only sends and receives MIDI through the 5-pin MIDI ports and not through USB, which brings me to the next item on this list. Number 4, a MIDI splitter. Another vestige? I'm not sure how that's pronounced, of the Octatrack being older than TikTok is that it comes from a time when USB MIDI was not the standard. As such, you can't hook it up to a computer or a USB hub to route MIDI as you can on modern MPCs, for example. The physical limitation is pretty important when you consider that the Octatrack has 8 dedicated MIDI tracks and that it's a really powerful MIDI controller for external gear. So something you might seriously want to consider is breaking it out of MIDI jail with either a MIDI cable splitter like this one, which allows you to divide the signal into 2 outputs, or something a bit more expensive but also more powerful like a MIDI hub. These can vary wildly in price and capabilities, and although I've done my best to put off buying one, there does come a point where you just want to make your life simpler and skip the advanced connect the dots game of chaining multiple synths by using their MIDI through ports. It's just a great way of getting the most out of your Octatrack as the main brain for a larger hardware setup. Number 5, an external controller. Though the Octatrack can absolutely function fully standalone, another way of making it much more fun and accessible is by simply giving yourself an easier way to control it. This can mean something like an external keyboard so you can input notes chromatically, which is one of my favorite ways of using the sample pitch shifting on this thing, or a drum pad like the Array Touch so you can just finger drum samples, or even something more complex like a fader fox to tweak parameters or a foot pedal to control it hands-free. Nektar makes a pretty chunky pedal that has an Octatrack template, and it's designed to turn your Octatrack into a straight-up looper. Now, I haven't tried it, but it's definitely on my wish list. Also, if you've ever used it, please leave a comment below and let us know your experience with it. Also, newly announced on Supercharge 2025 is the Newsight Drop, which has its own hands-free transitions of MIDI parameters and appears to be tailor-made for performing with the Octatrack. Now, I've been talking to Newsight, and it looks like I'll be able to show you a drop right here on this channel very soon. So now would be a great time for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell, just so you don't miss out. All of these peripherals are just a few of the many ways that you can enhance your Octatrack experience, and it is a further testament to how versatile and ahead of its time this machine originally was. If you have any other suggestions of useful Octatrack add-ons, please share your tips with the rest of us in the comments section below. If you're still here and you've enjoyed this video, please remember that you can always support my channel with something as simple as using my affiliate links down below to buy your own gear, clicking the like button or leaving me a comment, even if it's just to say hi. If you'd like access to my original music, my multi-sampled instruments, and the most awesome Discord community on the face of this earth, head over to Patreon. Everyone is welcome there. If you'd like to see 5 reasons why the Octatrack is still king in 2025, be sure to check out this video right here. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.